and this is Tern Hill Hall, and isn't that just glory? What a rare car. Next to roll into Tern Hill Hall, a 67. The spare wheel is hung off the back. Spanish built Austin Victoria. What a solid looking old girl that is. The Vauxhall Viva Brabham, no less. We have a Chevy 3100, but not the usual pickup. Over there's a lovely Austin 7 Chummy. This is a 66 Fiat 600. Fantastic. Yeah, that BM engine is definitely a diesel. Here's a very purposeful looking little TR4. Well, good evening folks, welcome to Old Classic Car, and this is Tern Hill Hall, and here this evening is a car meet, bit of everything, modern cars, classic cars and a few vintage cars as well. So I think we are set fair with this fantastic weather for a particularly great evening. My youthful assistant is over in the other field. We haven't been to this one before. It has been held a few times. It's not every month, just every now and then, so keep an eye on Facebook for when the next occurrence of this particular event is going to take place. But it is a huge event. There are vehicles around the main hall and over in the field just over here, but I think we will start over here and just have a bit of a nosy, see what cars are here already. But yeah, I can already see some real gems. As always, I'll try and feature a little bit of everything, but concentrate mainly on the older cars because that's what the channel is all about. And to begin with, we have this glorious bullnose Saab, a little two-stroke Saab, and what a little Bobby Dazzler that one is. I think I saw this one at the Eccleshaw meeting back in 2023, and I do have a bit of a soft spot for two-stroke Saabs. If you've been on the channel for a while, you remember I did a video about the old Saab van that we used to have. That was a bullnose as well, and this is a glorious little car, this one. Very, very nice too. There's a two-stroke engine nestled away in there. Really interesting radiator behind the engine, and there's a cooling fan driven by the pulley at the front there. Apologies if I make any little errors this evening. We've had quite a long day. We drove back from France this morning, got back home about 3 this morning, so I'm running on fumes a little bit. But anyway, let's carry on down here. We've got a 64 Hillman Minx automatic, no less. I'm not sure if I've ever seen this one before. We are in the MX-5. I was going to bring the Jaguar, but we still haven't ironed out all the little gremlins, so we had to go back home and dig out the MX-5 at the last moment. So yeah, the evening didn't quite start off as we had imagined, as we had planned, but we are here, and that is the main thing. And what a fantastic Minx this is. These little Daihatsu Copans are very neat as well. While we were sat on the side of the road pondering the diagnosis of the Jaguar about 45 minutes ago, this one drove past, so we figured it was probably on the way here to Tern Hill Hall, and we were right. Okay, next up we have a bay window VW, very, very nice too, and an E30 Cabriolet, one of the 3 Series BMW Cabriolets. One nip down here, like I say, we'll focus on the classic and the vintage cars. And anything else that particularly stands out, we've got an FMR here, which was a license-built version of the Messerschmitt KR200, the funny little bubble cars. A TR7 drop-head coupe here, roof down. And I'll be surprised if we see any convertibles here this evening with their roofs raised. So nice. Here's the weather. We are very lucky, we are blessed with gorgeous weather this evening. So we thought we really need to make the effort and get over to this event, our first time here, and it's already shaping up to be a very, very promising gathering indeed. I can still see cars coming in. And what do we have here? Mk1 Triumph 2.5 PI, the fuel injected Triumph 2.5. Very, very nice, big straight 6 engine, manual. I imagine it's probably manual with overdrive. And this has the Lucas fuel injection, very similar to that in the TR5 and the TR6 sports cars. Got a great little Fiat Panda there from about 1987, I would have thought. Those are bonny little cars they are. But back to magnificent Triumphs, and isn't that just glory? What a rare car. I mean, the Mk1 2000s and 2500s are rare enough in their own right, but the PIs are just another level of rare again. There's the all-important badging on the back, 2.5 PI, and then incredible paint finish on this one as well. Yeah, certainly a bit of everything at this one. And if one 2.5 PI wasn't enough, look next door. We have another one. This one with a tow bar on it. Perfect for towing your old CI Sprite caravan or something like that. But yeah, what a treat to see these two here together. Very, very stylish looking cars, I think. Styled by Mk1, who did so much for Triumph back in the day with the Herald and the Spitfires and so on. Yeah, this one on some pretty beefy looking Wolf-Ray's alloy wheels, metallic paint. So a few mods with this one. I wonder what modifications, if any, have taken place under the bonnet, but I do love the dashboard on these Mk1s. They're just so 60s and very, very stylish. Bikes as well as cars here this evening. Volvo here, is it a 340 or is it a 360? This is a 340 complete with reversing lights. Next to roll into Tern Hill Hall, a 67 Ford Cortina Mark II. Looking resplendent in the sun here is a chrome bumper MGB GT on painted wire wheels. We approve of that a lot, we like painted wire wheels. That's a very, very clean car. Apologies for any shadows, but the sun's quite bright and low. But yeah, what a fab looking car that is. Just a couple of the sporty little numbers under the trees. Got an MR2, make that two MR2s. And a brace of Ferraris just over there. Here's an interesting little number over here, the Austin Victoria, the much modified Spanish-built Austin Victoria, based on the AD016, the Morris and the Austin 1100 range, but with a different front and a very different back. If you look at the middle bit where the doors are, you'll see regular 1100, but things are very different when you get round the front. As you can see here, very different headlamp arrangement. Smaller lamps, it hasn't got the usual 7-inch Lucas lamps either side, which the regular 1100s do. This has two smaller diameter lamps and this very distinctive egg crate type grille on the front. And we make our way around the back. The rear quarters here remind me a lot of Rover P6 and Triumph Dolomite. But we carry on around here and we see a very different tail. Almost Triumph-like in many ways, but yeah, this is the Austin Victoria. What a rare old bird this is. This is a pretty laid-back kind of evening, so we will just amble around and have a gentle look around, see what's here. Golf GTI Mk1. Next to its arch rival of the day, the 205 GTI from Peugeot. This is a 1.9 car, slightly larger, different design of wheels on the 1.9s as opposed to the 1.6s that came before. Some people prefer 1.6s, some people prefer the 1.9s, and as I've driven neither, I can't really comment. But yeah, very neat little cars, very lightweight cars, and yeah, a world away from cars that are being built today. I couldn't resist having a peer inside this Austin Victoria. There you go. These were built from 72 to 1974, but look at that really plush interior. How groovy is that? And a very neat dashboard. I have to say I much prefer this to the regular Austin and Morris 1100. That's just really nice. Very, very nice. And what great condition this one is in. Yeah. Very, very rare car. Let's just amble over here because my eye has been caught by that Anglia. But first we'll have a quick look at this powder blue MGA 1600 Roadster with a 1622cc engine. Very, very similar unit to that in the Austin Cambridge and the Morris Oxford. But look at this, an Anglia, I'm guessing it's a super. Look at that, immaculate under the bonnet. But where I wanted to look was round the back, because if we have a look round here, the spare wheel is hung off the back. And if this was an American car, like a T-Bird or something like that, this would be called a Continental kit, where you move the rear bumper back and you get a mounting to mount your spare wheel on the back and save a load of boot space. And quite what the story is with this conversion is, I'm not quite sure. I've got a piece of artwork at home and it shows an Anglia just like this with the spare wheel mounted on the back. It's got a...
Do you want me to move?
No, I was just admiring the sportsman badge, trying to figure out what it was or what it is.
Special,
is it?
because it's got the wheels on there on the back.
Oh, yes, I was looking. It's like a Continental kit, isn't it?
It was, yes. And then it was for the Belgian market, and then obviously, yeah. And then Ford started to sell it in England.
That kit, so yes. You can actually buy that from your Ford garage?
Yes, you can buy the kit, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, to put the wheel on the outside of the bumper.
Oh, right.
Gives you more room then.
Yeah,
It was called the Sportsman.
I've never heard of that before.
No,
I've seen
I've
seen Thunderbirds and things like that with it on. But that is pretty groovy,
but
isn't it?
that's the original colour of the vehicle. Name escapes me at the moment, and the vehicle is as it was.
So it originally went to Belgium, presumably, hence the B. Was that? So what's the B for there on the
Belgium,
number plate? Yeah.
Because the guy I bought it off, he used to take it to Belgium a lot.
Oh, did he?
So
right.
I think he put that on to give it a
bit
of panache, if you like.
Yeah, I got you. Just a sort of I see what you mean there.
Yeah.
So the Sportsman, is that what the conversion was called there?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, that is, isn't it? Have you had this one long then? Or?
Last September.
Last September, was it? Right, so we'll keep going around here. Don't want to get in anyone's photographs. So while he photographs the Ferraris, let's go and have a look at this Ford Capri, Welsh registered Ford Capri. Fairly late example. The steel sliding sunroof, and who remembers these Perspex wind deflectors that you could buy for your old sunroofs? I remember those well. Dad had one of those on his Saab. Quite effective as it was too. Now this is the Cabaret limited edition. We've got the original dealer plates on there. No, it is. There we go. Llangefni in Wales. There's a supplying dealer. Yeah, CC is a Welsh area registration. That's a very clean car indeed. Talking of Capris, we've got a Mk1 here, about 1971-ish, I would guess. And look at the interior of that. That's just like it's come straight out of the showroom. Isn't that amazing? I mean, how many of those steering wheels were just chucked away, and maybe you'd put like a Motor-Liter wheel on it or something sporty for the 1970s. So to see this one with the original wheel still on it is probably quite unusual. But it's in absolutely mint condition. That's a really tidy looking little car. The Lucas, the old sort of square 8, I think they call these. Lamps on the front, very nice. What do we have here? Late 67 or early 68 Hillman Imp. The F registration series came in, I think it was about August 67. Very neat little car, rear engine of course. This was Roots Group's answer, or rival rather, to BMC's Mini. These were assembled up at Linwood in Scotland. Did have a few reliability issues back in the day. I think they've probably all been ironed out by now. But it did kind of do for the Imp sales somewhat, but they were still very popular. Obviously the engine sits under there. And one neat feature is you've got this opening rear window as well, so that's quite nice on a hot sunny day. Open, wind down the door windows, pop open the back window, and you get a lovely current of air through that. The sun is already starting to disappear, so we'll have to keep going, keep moving. Behind the Imp we've got an MGTD. It's a right-hand drive. Lots of these went to America back in the day. I think most of them probably went to America back in the day, and quite a few of the ones that we see now have been brought back again. Now whether this has been brought back or if it's always been here, I'm not quite sure, but either way, It's a lovely example in a fairly dark shade of red. Some of these were 1250, later ones were 1500cc if I remember correctly. Quite distinctive, kind of almost pre-war styling with the rear hinge doors and the separate wings. But as a nod to modernity, you got these steel disc wheels on the MG-TDs, whereas the previous cars, of course, had the spoked wheels. Then after this, it was a TF, and then the MGA. We've seen one of those already. Yeah, very, very pre-war inspired interiors in these. Another example of the Mark 1 Golf GTI over here. Very, very nice too. The question is, would you have a black one or would you have a red one? Which would you have bought when these first came out in the sort of mid-70s, wasn't it? Somewhere around there. This one's AW is a Shropshire registration, so it's not too far from its original home, wherever that was, because we are in sunny Shropshire this very, very fine evening. Here's our lovely Cortina, the Mark II Cortina that we saw driving in just a few minutes ago. This is a Cortina Super. So it's a very natty, full width wheel trims on it. Very, very nice. I wonder if they all had these strips around the wheel arches. Is that a Super thing that runs along the sill as well? If you know your Fords and your Cortinas, let me know in the comments. Was that a Super thing or did they all have that? Off the top of my head I can't remember. But it's super clean inside. Wow, it just smells incredible in there. It really is a beautiful example. There's that Volvo 340 alongside. This was originally a DAF design. Volvo bought out DAF. The Volvo put it into production, badged up as a Volvo. And there was also the booted cars a little while later. 340s and the 360s, top of the tree I think was the GLT, the slightly sporty one. Rear wheel drive, quite popular with the drifters nowadays. People like modifying these and going drifting in them, which is a very un-Volvo-like practice, but I'm guessing it's quite suitable for it, being rear wheel drive and quite tunable I imagine. This one looks really, really standard. Talbot Sunbeam Lotus rally car over here, a little 7 there. What's this? Aerial Atom I think, but next to it, this is what I want to look at. The Mark II Jaguar 3.4 litre Jaguar, so middle of the range in terms of engine sizes that was available with the Mark IIs, and this one is a lovely, almost a Curia Cos blue. That is a great colour, one of my favourite colours for the Jaguar Mark IIs, just a lovely looking car. This one's on an age-related plate. Oh, there's a TR6 just coming in over there. So engine not dissimilar to that in the 2.5 PI saloons we were looking at before. Just in a higher state of tune, but similar Lucas fuel injection. This, back to the Jaguar. What a belter this is. Now, is this manual overdrive? Or does it have the auto box? You could get either. Back in the day. Can we see? Oh, it's column change. I'm guessing this is an auto. I think can't quite see, but yes, I think this is a 3.4 auto. It's a 3.4 litre version of Jaguar's famous XK twin cam 6-cylinder engine. Lovely car. These were a revised and updated version of what was latterly called the Mark I saloon, which came out in the 1950s. These soldiered on right until the launch of the XJ in '68, probably just after. Just fantastic looking cars. Yeah, that's lovely. Right, let's carry on down here. We've got that Sunbeam rally car. Very nice. I'm not sure what this is, Caterham or Westfield or something. Jaguar over here. Looks like a 120. And on the end here, a Ferrari 308. Next to the VW we have a Porsche 911, but I wanted to have a look at this magnificent Sunbeam motorcycle. What a solid looking old girl that is. Really incredible car. That looks really, there's just something about it that shouts sort of heavy and solid, dependable and quality. Big hefty old engine, not quite sure what size it is. There's certainly lots of cooling vanes on all those castings. Lovely. Let's continue our stroll along here. Next to another 911, we have the Ford Consul Capri and the Porsche here. Much modified Mini. Many mods going on under the bonnet of this one. Is that a Weber or is it a Delorto? Very nice too. BMW Z3, happy memories of owning one of those. And we'll carry on along here. We have the Alfa Romeo Arna. This was a collaboration. We've seen this car before, but for the benefit of people who haven't watched some of the earlier videos here on the Old Classic Car channel, this is the Alfa Romeo Arna. This was a collaboration with Nissan. So they took the Nissan Cherry, I think it was, body shell and fitted Alfa running gear into it, hence the Alfa Sud wheels that you can see down there, and the Alfa engine down there. So all that running gear was fitted into the hatchback body shell of the Nissan. An unusual choice, the Nissan Cherry Europe. So I was slightly wrong, I was being misguided slightly by the Alfa badge on the front, because there was the Alfa Romeo Arna and the Nissan Cherry Europe. So both versions were available depending on whether you preferred buying Nissans or Alfa Romeos. There goes the Mark II Jaguar. Yeah, very rare car. We've got Honda S2000 here, but that Jaguar just sounds wonderful. This green Mini we've seen at the Combermere meetings. Another glorious MGA 1600 again. Perfect for an evening like this. Be wrong to miss out all these fantastic motorcycles. We'll have a quick look around here. Got 3 BSAs over here. Just have a quick look at those. A BSA Rocket 3. I'm not sure when I last saw one of those. Oh, very nice too. Look at the pipe work on that. I'm presuming it's a triple. And then we've got a BSA Golden Flash down here. BSA Birmingham Small Arms, hence the rifles that form the BSA logo. This is a beautiful oily ragger, this one. Amal carb on it there. Yeah, very nice too. Coming slightly more up to date, we've got a water-cooled Suzuki Escort Mexico just arriving. Suzuki GT 750. Honda there. There's a little scooter over here by Vespa. Right, where was I? MGA in bright red. We like that. Modern Cooper-esque works, the John Cooper works, and a Triumph Stag here, bonnet raised, allowing a bit of cooling air over its 3-litre Triumph V8 engine. So many of these were modified to accept the Rover 3.5, and those that are modified, probably most have been converted back to the original Triumph engine by now, I would have thought. Lots of reliability issues with these back in the day, cooling problems, cylinder head problems. I believe there was also a problem whereby a lot of the sand used in the casting of the engine block would end up remaining in the waterways, and that would cause all manner of cooling problems as well. But you know, 40-50 years later, most of these issues have been solved now, and those that are left are just lovely GTs. I really think the styling is just really good on these, especially with the hardtops. I always think these look really good with the hardtops fitted. Right, let's carry on round here. Past the lovely, we've got some Ferraris over there. Bay window V-dub over there. A chunk of American muscle. I'll have to double check what that is afterwards. This beauty here, the Jensen CV8. Fiberglass body, well most of it is fiberglass bodied. Sorry. Most of this is fiberglass. The doors are skinned in aluminium. and I think part of the boot floor is aluminium. The floors are steel, but most of the body is made from very high quality fiberglass. Just lovely looking cars. Chrysler V8 automatic gearbox. They were all automatic gearbox. I think at the time they were the fastest four-seater certainly made in this country. Apparently they'd crack about 140, something like that. Just very, very handsome looking cars, and we see this one at some of the events we get to, but they're just lovely looking cars. Very distinctive styling. They weren't for everyone perhaps at the time, but I think time has been kind to them, and I would definitely have one of these. I would love to own one of these. I very nearly bought one just 2 or 3 years ago, but that didn't happen. Maybe it was a lucky escape. Maybe it's one of those cars where you're best off just buying a good one in the first place. Okay, we've got a split window VW camper here, looking lovely in this evening sunshine. Old guys rule. Yes, hard to argue with that. Pretty wild looking trike here, more motorcycle action. It's good to see these old names being revived. Triumph still going. Royal Enfield is still a name being applied to new bikes, I believe, albeit now built in India, but apparently by all accounts they're really good bikes. There we go. And a Vincent, oof, very nice, that is. That's my bike of the evening so far, the beautiful Vincent. That is wonderful. I could have that in the living room and just spend the evening looking at it. That's what we did for a while with my uncle's, my late uncle's old Veloset. We had that in the living room for a period of time, and it did look beautiful. But bikes, as well as cars, they should really be out and about. Yeah, that is just lovely. Got a 64 Triumph here alongside its much younger brother. Over here we got a Chevy 3100 half-ton pickup, an American pickup. This one from the early 1950s, about 53-ish. A bit more desirable than some because this has got the so-called 5-window cab. These extra cab corner windows weren't a feature on all the Chevy 3100s, but these are quite sought after now apparently by all the Chevy fans. This cab was also shared on the GMC pickups, and indeed much larger trucks use the same cab, but this is the half-ton, and it's the half-tons that are the most popular nowadays. This one sits very low, maybe it's on air suspension. Very, very stylish looking vehicles. Most of them have the split windscreen. The very last ones, the last year or so, they did switch to a one-piece screen in about 54-ish. These sun visors were made by Fulton over in America. I think there are probably repros around, but the original metal ones, more often than not, are the original Fultons, Fulton. Sometimes they have a little manufacturer's plaque on the side. I can't see one here, but if it's not an original Fulton, then it's a direct copy. Treated wood in the back. That's not carried many bricks, I don't think, at least not for a while. Yeah, immaculate. We have a Beetle departing here, this one on a K plate, 1971-ish. So that sort of evening meet where cars come and go. So I don't know where my youthful assistant is, he'll be on the field here somewhere, but we'll start mooching around here. This Riley RM is a regular at many of the events we get to. We parked next to this one at the White Lion just a few weeks ago. We were in the V8 Pilot, and the gentleman who owns this, he was there with this, looking fantastic as always. Now this is a bit of a rarity, the Vauxhall Viva Brabham, no less, based on the HB series Viva, but this was a tuned up version of the HB Viva, just as the Cooper applied the magic to the Mini Coopers, and so too did, I think, 3-time world champion Jack Brabham from Australia. He put his name to these modified Vauxhall Vivas, and yeah, very, very rare to see one of these now. This is a properly rare car. I love the Brabham steering wheel as well. You can just about see that hopefully in there. Yeah. Of course, Jack Brabham was the only guy to win a Formula 1 World Championship in a car of his own name. So that makes him unique in the history of Formula 1, at least so far. Oh, that's a properly rare little car, that is. Have any of you watching this video owned one of these? Either a Viva HB or in particular one of these, the Brabham Viva? Let me know in the comments. Again, let me know in the comments which of the cars featured in this video you would like to take home. So it says here they were made from 67 to 69. Around 100 made only. Wow, and only 8 known to survive. TVR Griffith is departing. SLK Mercs are becoming a more regular sight at some of the events we get to. Same for these E39 BMW 5 Series. Got a young lady singing in the background. We've got a Series 2 or 2A Land Rover here from 1964. This one looks like a very well used example. It's always good to see. Got a Rover 45, or rather the MG ZR version of the Rover 45. What do we have here? Got an Alpha engine in the back here. That's the Boxer engine, so you've got the pistons, instead of the pistons going up and down, these go horizontal, so you've got 2 here, another 2 over there, so it's a 4-cylinder Boxer engine in this. Looks like it's mid-build, but certainly an interesting project.
There is chemicals to strip all that out and do it again properly in the next
I can get a new tank for that.
Reminds me a bit of the Porsche 904 and the 906.
Yeah, you need tanking, it doesn't matter, does it?
We're on the main lawn here, and I spy a magnificent 100-plus-year-old, well, probably from the teens, Chalmers, this fantastic vintage, or almost Edwardian area special, based on an American Chalmers. I ogled this one at an event only recently. What a great looking thing. Everything just looks so proper on this. Look at that incredible engine in there. Huge 4-cylinder engine. All the exposed rockers, the springs, the valves you can see just in there.
Yo!
Oh, I'm joined by my youthful assistant.
Yeah, I've done that field now.
Have you done that field, have you? Have you been over there, have you? Oh, right. It's quite an interesting fan, isn't it, with this sort of rim around it to keep all the blades from... I'm not quite sure.
What's with the deal with the Bentley badge and the Chrysler 300?
Quite often people would take one of these Chrysler 300s and put Bentley badges on them because they thought they look a bit like a Bentley.
I can see the grill actually. He's gone the whole way with Bentley trimmed on the side and everything.
Is there? Yes. So this is a Chrysler, the American Chrysler 300C, and someone's gone to town with Bentley badge work. But anyway, let's stick to the older cars, I think. It's fantastic Chalmers. So there's the magneto that provides all your sparkage for the 4 plugs up there, and actually quite unusual plugs. I've never seen spark plugs like that before. Yeah, very, very neat indeed. I love all this. So you've got the magneto here, and the HT leads coming out of the back, very close to that exhaust manifold. I'm surprised they're happy being so close to. On the old 24 Dodge that I used to have, the mag on that was underneath the big cast iron manifold like this, and I had to put some heat shielding in because it was really affecting badly the performance of the mag. This one appears to be okay. We see this one at various VSCC events throughout the year. It's just such an incredible car.
Yeah, the yellow one's
Saw the HB Viva before, and here's a magnificent HC, a two-door HC Vauxhall Viva. This one pops up. I think we saw this one at Audlam, and we have seen this at the Crewe Heritage Centre on a number of occasions. It's always a treat to see these cars. I remember growing up with these back in the 1970s. One time they'd be everywhere, but now not so much. But this one's a real beauty, that one. Right, let's carry on over here and we'll see what we've got. Oh, the Austin Cambridge, the A60 Cambridge, 1622. Like these a lot. Very nice. So we used to have the car came before this, the A55 Cambridge Mark II. Someone had retrofitted this slightly bigger engine to it. Yeah, very dependable old cars these are. Got a slightly jaunty angle on the grass here. We have a Chevy 3100, but not the usual pickup. This is the panel van. That is very neat, very original. Somewhat, I'm not sure if this is, I don't dare touch it. I'm not quite sure if that's oil or some sort of lacquer, don't quite know. But if I was a fly, I wouldn't want to be landing on that. How cool is that? Let's have a quick peek in through the window. Looks like a Morris Minor Speedo, I think. Oh, certainly looks BMC. What does it smell of? Not quite sure what it smells of. Could be boiled linseed oil. I've just done a video all about oily ragging. Oh, 40s Dodge pickup back at base. Maybe I should have brought that this evening. Like I say, we only got back in at 3 this morning, so we didn't really get a chance to prep any of the older ones to come here today. I only found out about this event earlier this afternoon when I went onto Facebook. It popped up on there in the events. This is a Chevy El Camino, a big pickup. A Granada here, possibly a Scorpio. This is one of the booted versions. Another Triumph TR7. This is the fixed head coupe. And it says a fixed head coupe that the TR7 was launched. Originally Triumph weren't going to do an open top version of the TR7, but traditional TR buyers weren't too impressed with that idea, and after several years of production they did bring in the drop head coupe version. Next is Ford F-150, another MGB, very nice indeed. This one been fitted with chrome bumpers. This would have been a rubber bumper car originally. So it's a very nice knock-on mini light style wheels on it. And that's that. Another Triumph Stag. This one in our favourite colour of yellow.
So he went home anyway. Jeff managed to open one of the days, so we started getting in the house.
Tucked away in the corner over here we have another 3.4 litre Jaguar Mark II. There's one or two little modifications on this one. This has got the Coombs style rear arches. These arches here, they're usually a bit fuller, they usually go around like that. But John Coombs was a tuner racer of Mark II Jaguars back in the day, and one of the mods he introduced was these much slimmer rear arch fittings. And that is what this one has been fitted with here. It's a manual overdrive 3.4, the other was an auto. Beautiful interior, the smell of the leather and the look of all that wonderful wood. It's just a treat. I do love these old Jags. There is the straight six in 3.4 litre guys. Very, very nice. Over there's a lovely Austin 7 Chummy. So what year would this one be? About 29-ish, 30. What have we got here? 28, December 28 tax disc, so that probably answers my own question. Very nice. And here, a pair of rear-engined air-cooled Fiats, the Fiat 500 to the left, and probably slightly rarer still, this is a 66 Fiat 600. There's someone doing a bit of aviating up there as well. Had a few low passes from that aeroplane this evening, but yeah, what a great pair of classic Fiats, enjoying the evening sun. That sun is definitely getting lower in the sky, so I need to up the pace a bit. Got a Mark 1 Mini here. Is it a Mini or is it the Austin 7? The early ones were badged up as Austin 7s. This is a deluxe with the opening rear side windows, I think. Yeah, it's the Austin 7. That's how the first Austin badge versions were badged. Later Mark 1s switched to mini badging, but this one is lovely. Look at that. Ford console convertible, a Mark 1 console convertible. Now that is a really rare car. I've never seen that one before. Even at the All Ford rally, which I went to recently down at Gaydon, there wasn't one of these there. That is a real treat. Great to see the original registration on it as well. The number plate pirates haven't been anywhere near it, mercifully. That is just incredible. Let's have a look inside. Amazing seat covers there. Very simple. Fairly basic interior. Of course, you had your 6-cylinder Zephyr and Zodiac above this in the range, so the console, which was a 4-cylinder as opposed to the 6-cylinder engines in the other two, these were, I suppose, the entry-level cars, and as a result were fairly simple, fairly plain painted interior, painted dash, but in convertible form. By heck, that's a rarity now. It really is an unusual sight. So what a treat to see that one here. This Escort, I think we've seen that one around. We have a Jaguar C-Type replica. How cool is that? The XK120C. Replica of the very famous early 1950s Le Mans type car. Very nice. And there is that hot rod pickup we saw on the way in a little while ago. This road we have already looked at, headed up by this XJS fixed head coupe. Porsche heads this row. Some cars are starting to go already. We've got a Morris, the Morris 8 Tourer, the Series 1 Morris 8 Tourer with a 1937 tax disc in the window. Got a Triumph Herald, or Vitesse rather. So is this the 1600 or is it a 2 litre? I don't think just by looking at it we can really tell. But all the Vitesses had the straight 6 engine, and so easy to work on as well. Separate chassis, just like the Herald on which the Vitesse was based. This one's got some K&N air filters replacing the originals. Another Stag here. Great little Thames 300E, a little side valve powered car. Citroen Xantia. Second of the Fiestas, the Mark III Fiesta, I think that was. Got a Triumph here, looks like a TR4. Look at this Bedford CA, the Mark III version of the Bedford CA panel van. That is very nice indeed. On an F plate, so late 67, early 68. Yeah, that is nice. The very early ones had the 2-piece windscreens, much shallower screens, different grille as well. And the Mark IIs had a 1-piece screen for the first time, but not as deep as that. Then the Mark IIIs had the much deeper screen that you see there. This is a CAS, so the standard or the short wheelbase version. There was also the CAL, which had the longer wheelbase. So yeah, what a beauty that is. Let's keep looking for oldies. Great little Mini there. The Triumph Dolomites Sprint, the 16-valve Sprint. The Triumph Herald, the 1200 convertible.
They stay blue though.
Oh, it's got to be blue. It's like, yeah,
very original looking. Long wheelbase Landy there. We've got a Series 3 short wheelbase alongside that. And a very clean early Ford Focus. These are getting popular now. Sun is getting low, just starting to disappear behind those trees, so let's keep going. Got a BMZ3. This Golf we saw at the Royal Oak. This is the Country, yeah. Very unusual variant based on the Mark II VW Golf. We saw that one driving here earlier on. Cavalier over here. A Ford Model A. It's a 3.3 litre engine, there we are. 3.3 4-cylinder. Very torquey engine. Fuel tank built into the scuttle. I think the last time I saw this one was at the Anything Goes meet. You may have seen that video already on the channel. If you haven't, it's well worth checking that one out. The Anything Goes meet. What's this Datsun here then? Is this? Ooh, I remember seeing these, but it's so long since I last saw one of these. Oh, quite a groovy rear window louvre. So that's the F2, the 120A. Very unusual car now. Porsche Boxster, a fastback Mustang, bullet spec, got an XJ coupe with a BMW engine. That's an unusual conversion. So the old Jaguar XJ. Well, I say Jaguar, it's actually the Daimler badge version of the two-door. It's got a body colour roof. As standard, these all had vinyl, black vinyl roofs. Oh heck, it's an oil burner. So this one is either the straight 6XK or the V12 engine, depending on what it originally had, has been replaced with a BMW diesel unit. Right, let's carry on along here. The Peugeot 405 MI16, that was the hot version of the Peugeot 405. Got escort vans, two of. One's a Mark 1. This one, the much modified Mark 2. We'll just carry on round here. Mini sidewalk just departing. Got a two-door Cortina here, the Mark II Ford Cortina. Something vintage just driving out. Didn't get a chance to see that, unfortunately. Got a Ford Sierra XR4i, a sporty one before the Cosworths came along. Got an open top Range Rover, no less. It's a bit different. There's a black one similar to that floating around some of the shows that we get to. Got a Willis Jeep over here, complete with all the equipment. You got spades, pickaxe, helmet, the mounting for presumably a machine gun or something. We were following one of these through France the other day and thought how much fun it looked on a nice sunny day, bombing along very smooth French roads. Got a Bath modified 595 Fiat there, a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo E36 BMW Coupe. There's a Porsche just leaving over there, Toyota Supra. Is that an Audi 80 or a 90? I can never tell the difference, but I don't think there are too many differences. MG Midget over here. This one's been fitted with chrome bumpers, but being on an R plate would have originally had the rubber bumpers, and presumably it's still got the original Triumph 1500 engine under that bonnet. But very neat little cars. The MGB Roadster. This one on a K plate, rubber bumper. I think this would originally have probably had the recessed grille, the same as Dad's chrome bumper GT. And this also has many modifications. It has a Nissan turbo engine. Quite a few modified classics here this evening. It's actually quite a neat fit. And next up, we have the Series 3 V12 E-Type Roadster. Looking particularly magnificent. That low sun really accentuating the fantastic lines of these third series E-Types. Just lovely. Skyline Chevy Blazer taking up its fair amount of grass space. That certainly casts quite the shadow, that big old Blazer. Mini two-door Escort here. Looks like a Devon registration on that one. A little V-dub here. XR3, so this is the carburetted sporty Mark III Escorts before the fuel-injected XR3i came along. These are very distinctive telephone dial wheels. Mazda, the P38 series Range Rover on the end here, on the private plate, SJI 4123. So that plate, because we don't have the letter I over here in England, so that registration presumably started out over in Ireland. Okay, let's keep going at this fantastic evening meet here at Tern Hill Hall. We have an eye-popping, what do you call it, Stingray, the Corvette Stingray. Very eye-catching design, fiberglass bodywork of course. This really was kind of the American equivalent to our E-Type. Got a big grunty V8 in these. Nissan Figaro here. The Mark 1 MX-5 or UNOS, we do like that. the Renault 5 GT Turbo, but I see an old Citroen further up this row which I really want to have a look at just in case it disappears. So let's scoot along here. Very clean 5-door Escort there. Another one of the high revving Honda S2000 Sports here. Got a swanky Aston, but look at this, the Citroen Traction Avant, and this is an original French built Traction Avant, left hand drive, chevrons on the outside of the grille. The UK built cars, the right hookers, the chevrons were behind the vertical grille slats. So that's the difference between the original French built cars and the many examples that were assembled here in the UK at Slough. Oh, quite often you see them in black, but not so often this maroon colour. Yeah, very nice too. Yeah, very stylish car. This one looks really original. The detailing on some of these French cars is just fantastic. Look at the little lamps on the back. And the country plate as well. Just really nice little details on cars like this. Look at that. And little parking lights up here as well. Little marker lights. So red lens to the rear, clear lens to the fore. Window is open so we can have a peer inside. Yeah, very nice. Of course, Traction Avant, front wheel drive. Very advanced car for the day, introduced in the 1930s. Is this a 350Z, could be, or a 370, I'm not quite sure which. I have a Porsche 944 Cabriolet over here. We'll continue our amble around, and I want to have a look at this, the Austin 1300 GT. This is a rare old girl now. This is the AD016. We were looking at that Austin Victoria before. And this is the perky version offered by BL in the early 1970s, the GT, with those very distinctive wheel trims. So this was effectively a Mini Cooper for someone that needed a little bit more space. Very similar 1275cc transverse A-series engine with the twin carbs. So very similar to the Mini Cooper S, but just in a slightly larger body shell. Of course, originally penned by Alec Isagonis, the 1100, as well as the Mini, of course, and the post-war mine. There goes another little 205 GTI. Yeah, this is a rare car. Bit of info over there. This is a Mark III. Just about make that out, I think. Just pause the video if you want to have a read of that. Very distinctive steering wheel on these GTs as well. I love the colour as well. Well, I timed that just right. The Citroen's already going. Fantastic. Look at that. How cool is that? Right, it is getting pretty dark now, so we will continue. There's that Fiat Panda, about 1987. We saw this one driving in not that long ago. Same for these Minis. Look at this great little Mini 95 van. This is a W-Reg one, so one of the very last. These were introduced way back in the 60s and changed very little throughout production. The earlier ones, slightly different badging, and they also had the roof vents as well, just in the middle of the roof about here, shared with the A30 and the A35 van. There goes that Renault 5 GT Turbo. Nice to see that here. Let's carry on. This little 106 GTI, we followed this one in. Let's carry on. Another Escort here next to the Focus RS Mark II version of the Fiesta XR2. The Rover SD1 from 1985. I'm assuming it's a V8. I think most of the survivors probably are. Let's carry on past this Aston. I'm sure Harley knows what that is, maybe a DB9. Got the Vauxhall Monaro here, which is basically a UK market Holden Monaro, all part of GM, because Holden is no more, is it? Here we have an XKR, the V8 powered Jaguar XKR, supercharged. You can always tell the supercharged ones because these have the vents, the louvers in the bonnets. The non-supercharged cars don't have that. Well, I suppose it could be a regular XK8 but with the bonnet of an XKR, but I think we'll go with the former. And here a 1985 Jaguar XJ, a Series 3, could be a V12, probably a 6, probably the 4.2. It's got the Kent alloy wheels on it, very nice looking wheels. I've always thought they really suit these cars. It's got the extra trim down the side as well, so whether it's one of the slightly plusher variants, I'm not quite sure. Badged up as a Sovereign. Series 3's introduced such delights as bonded in front and rear windows, so whereas your Series 1s and 2s, which had a very different roof line compared to these, they had your regular rubber seal. These are bonded in, and you do have to have a good close look if you're going to buy one of these. Always have a good look around the screens because they are prone to rusting where the front and rear screens are bonded in. It's always worth having a good, very good close look at that area. And a great little Mini, and another XK, this time a non-supercharged XK8, but this one a convertible. Neat little 3 Series BMW estate here, the E30 era, 316i this one, so I think that's the 4-pot engine in that. Right, so let's carry on. There's 1 or 2 gaps in the field already. This is the 3rd Z3 of the day. But this is the Z3M. This has the M3 engine in it. Sometimes called the bread van because of this very distinctive styling with this fixed roof. Of course, most Z3s are open top convertible, but the Z3M was available as a convertible, and also this, which is a pretty bonkers car. 4 huge pipes sticking out the back, and with the M3 power plant, something like 326 brake horsepower perhaps. A very, very lively car to drive indeed. One thing to watch if you're going to buy one of these is lift the boot floor carpet and have a very, very good look at the boot floor over where the diff mounts, because too many enthusiastic traffic light starts, too many traffic light Grand Prix, they can start to pull the welds around the diff area out from the boot floor. So many of these cars now have had repairs in that area, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in itself. But if it has been repaired, just have a very good look to make sure the welding's been done properly. But yeah, the mountings in the boot floor can suffer, especially on these M's, which are really, really powerful and have a lot more grunt than your regular Z3s. Okay, let's carry on round here. I assume my youthful assistant is somewhere over near the main hall. Check out his video as well, because he'll have seen things that I miss. And here we've got a great half-ton step-side Ford. Well, it would have been a Ford V8. This one has a big, big BMW engine in it. Wow. So all the original paint's been rubbed down and been left to give it the sort of the patina, the grungy patina, oily rag look, which is so popular in the old pickup world. This SD1 is a Vanden Plas. So this was top of the tree really, the most upmarket version you could buy. Very similar running gear to that of the Vitesse, the sporty Vitesse, a 3.5 litre Rover engine. And we're back here with the XR2 and the 5-door Escort alongside that. So I think we will just grab a few photos before the light goes all together. But yeah, isn't this little Mini 95 van just a treat? Somehow I managed to miss looking at that Morgan. That's a very nice one, quite an early one as well. Sounds pretty perky as well. Tucked away on the back road, just as we are, it's a Mark III GT6. This one looks very original. I'm sure Harley's already been over here. Very nice. So this is the Mark III, the 2 litre straight six engine under that bonnet. Very, very easy to work on for the most part. I think the fiddliest thing with working on one of these, because some of the Mark III GT6s had the so-called Rotaflex rear suspension. That was fitted in a bid to stop the wheel tuck under that affected early GT6s and Spitfires, which could see you if you would go belting down a country lane on a bend and decide to back off in a hurry. It can see the car swapping ends very, very quickly indeed. So the Rotaflex rear suspension arrangement was designed to try and quell some of those handling foibles. Vitesses also used to suffer as well. There goes that E30 wagon. Now whether this has got the Rotaflex suspension or not, I'm not quite sure. The late Mark IIIs reverted to a simpler, i.e. cheaper, suspension arrangement. But the Rotaflex was really the best of the bunch. I had Rotaflex suspension on my much modified Mark III Spitfire years ago. Someone had fitted a 2.5 in that and it went really well and it handled superbly. But yeah, what a great looking little car this is. The MX-5 blotted its copybook, not for the first time this year. I went to adjust the passenger door mirror and it decided to fall off. Yes, we'll talk a bit more about that in a separate video once I have found a replacement to go on there. Yeah, that BM engine is definitely a diesel. There's no hiding the distinctive sound of a diesel engine. Yeah, definitely a few gaps starting to appear now here in the car park. Various cars and bikes starting to leave. Many stickers adorning this bay window. And there goes one of the Stags, that one in pale blue. It's a Mark II with the shiny sill covers on it and the alloy wheels as well. They were both features of the Mark II version of the Stag, but mechanically I don't think there were many, if any, differences between those and the earlier cars. There goes an XR3i. This event officially started about 6 o'clock, I think. We got here about 1:30, something like that. Oh, this Bristol. This wasn't here before, was it? Fans whirring away, so yes, I think this is a recent arrival. These are pretty incredible cars as well. Real GT in the traditional sense. Huge V8 engine by this point in time. Earlier Bristols had the 6-cylinder units. Yeah, this one on an R plate looks older. There's a nice Mini, possibly a Mayfair or similar just coming in. Oh. So what model is this one? Nice to see quite a few Triumphs here this evening. There goes the little 1200 convertible. Followed by a Dolly Sprint. Here comes the little Fiat 600. MX5 behind that. Z3. And the mighty Stingray. XK8 arrives, wafts in. There goes the little Figaro. Here comes a Porsche 944. The stag weight for the Peugeot 106 GTI. There we go, nice V8 Werble. Cool. That's great, huh? Pair of Mark III Escorts there, the 5-door gear, and the XR3, the rare Escort XR3. Ta-da! Very nice. Fantastic 2.5 PI. There goes a 2-door Escort. There goes the Jaguar, a lovely XJS. There's the Rover, the Van den Plas version of the Rover SD1, looking very sharp indeed. The Capri Cabaret, limited edition. Got a Lexus behind that, and there's that incredible 4-wheel drive Golf. What an incredible car that is. Have a really good look at that in the Royal Oak video that went live earlier this year. Escort 5-door, the Mark II Fiesta XR2, very nice, very clean car. The Immaculate Cavalier here. Don't see many of them now. They're pouring out now. We've got the Mini there. Oh, and here's that Morris 8, the Series 1 Morris 8. Fantastic. Hello. That is really lovely.
Nice photos of it.
Yeah, MGB looms into view. Wonderful evening for MG roads to drive. that fantastic GT. RS 1600i. There's that lovely late 30s Austin. Isn't that lovely? EYR 640. There's that super little Hillman Minx from 1964. Isn't that neat? Followed by the rally prepped Sunbeam Talbot Lotus. There's the aerial Atom. That'll blow the cobwebs out if nothing will. Next up, MGTD, very nice too. Mustang. There's that 67 Cortina. The XR4i. Quite a rare car now, that is. Big V6. 2.8 litre. There's the Escort van. There's the Mark II Escort van. And the E30 Cabriolet. Here we have the wartime Jeep. The Maserati approaches from the opposite direction. The Mini scurries by. Here's a very purposeful looking little TR4. Very nice too. Lovely. A Surrey roof on that one. MGB, hotly pursued by midgets. Very nice too. Here comes the bright green Fiat Panda. Here's the GT6. The Mazda's fan belt was sounding like that the other day. The Bristol is departing. There goes the Ford. There goes that glorious Jensen CV8. Very swish indeed. Oh, it's a Clio V6. I didn't see that before.
Come on, mate, what's up for nothing? See you later.
Well, folks, I think most of the interesting cars have left Tern Hill Hall, and it has been a very successful evening. Next time we'll try and get here a little bit early so we can have a slightly more leisurely look around. But yeah, for a first visit we've had a great evening, so thank you so much for watching this particular video. If you're new to the channel, please check out some of the other videos on here now. please think about giving the video a like and maybe subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Click the little notifications bell, then you'll get notified every time there is a new upload to the channel, and usually there are 2 new videos to the channel every single week. So thank you very much for watching this one, and there'll be many more videos along very soon. So bye for now.